Hey YouTube, welcome back to the channel. Donnie here. Tonight I have three topics I wanted to cover with everyone. I don't think I can cut it down to 2 or 3 separate videos and do it that way. I think it's just better to lump them all together and do one video. So this might be a little bit longer than you would like and that I would like to make, but I think that's just the easiest on me right now. A lot of stuff going on, so it's been difficult for me to make new videos. But the first topic is Orlando of Collector's Dream. So as you all know, he was diagnosed with cancer, had a major surgery earlier this week, or rather last week. And I just wanted to share a little story from my personal experience with Orlando with y'all to kind of back up what everyone's saying about how nice and loving and compassionate of a guy he is. So as you know, I went to Strongsville for the first time this year. I met a lot of YouTubers for the first time, and during the Friday night get-together, YouTube get-together, I was sitting at the table eating our pizza, and I was next to Orlando, and next to him was Rocket Rick J 18, and then next to him was Mike Canadian Cards, and a few other folks. And we could all tell something was not quite right with Rick. He just didn't seem to be feeling well. Other people that knew him a lot better than I did, I just met him like 30 minutes before that, could tell something was not quite right. They would ask him, was he okay? And he'd say, yeah, I'm fine or whatever. But we could all tell that something was not quite right. And Orlando spoke up. He was sitting next to him and kind of, checking on him and stuff. And he said, guys, don't worry. I'm spending the night with him. We're sharing a room, so I'll keep an eye on him. So that's kind of hit home for me at the time, because I was thinking, wow, this Orlando's really, really watching out for Rick, caring for him, making sure he's okay, he's going to be okay or whatever. And so that just kind of, made an impression with me, since I had just met Orlando earlier that day and, didn't know many of the folks very well at all. But then after Orlando's news this past week, when he came out with his cancer diagnosis and his major lung surgery, you got to think that Orlando knew what he was diagnosed with and what he was getting ready to go through, and yet he still was completely selfless, compassionate, caring about others more than himself, in this case Rick. So I think that just in hindsight, that made it all the more powerful and telling of what kind of a guy Orlando is. So again, Orlando, we're praying for you. Hope you get well soon. Hope to see you whatever next card show I get to go to that you're at. Just hang in there, buddy. Okay, so having said that, next update I want to share is for the subscriber appreciation contest that I'm running. It runs through, or entries are accepted through Friday at noon, May 16th. I'll make the drawings on Saturday, May 17th. Again, there are 3 prizes. An exhibits card of Bobby Doerr, who's autographed by Bobby Doerr. A 1913 Nat Lajoie game card, and then a T205 card as well. And I'll show those here once I turn around the camera. So for subscribers out there, 2 ways to enter. Leave a comment answering the 5 questions from my last video. If you need a refresher, go back to that video. It has all the contest rules and how to enter and the questions I'd like to have answered. So either leave a comment answering those, or leave a video response and just tag me in it and let me know that it's been posted, and I'll go check it out. Also, make sure you're publicly subscribed to my channel. There are a few folks who have left comments and contest entries, but right now they're not showing up on my subscriber list that I can see, so I need to be able to confirm that you are in fact subscribed to the channel. So the only way I can do that is if you're publicly subscribed and I can see it in my dashboard. I'm not an expert on YouTube about how to change your settings to make that happen. So unfortunately I can't help too much there. But I'm sure that there's some help and online help to make that happen if you need help there. And then the last thing I want to do is go over some pickups. I've had pickups from across multiple weeks and months leading up to this that I want to share. So I'm going to turn around the camera and show you some stuff, and we'll talk to more. Thanks. Actually, before I turn around the camera, I want to show this. So if you go watch Tony Southern Collector his channel. He's got a lot of fantastic cards. He collects, big name players: Ruth, Cobb, Mathewson, Walter Johnson, you name it, including Joe Jackson. And so you'll see, Cracker Jack Joe Jackson, some other Joe Jackson cards on his channel. But I want to tell you something. You are not a real Joe Jackson collector unless you've bought the Russian stacking doll of Shoeless Joe Jackson. So Tony, you need to step up your game, man. You're not there as a collector until you pick up one of these. I actually found this in a local antique store. I check out a couple times a year. Usually don't find too much, but every now and then you find something. And this was at one of the booths, and I saw it, and it was kind of so odd and strange. I had to get it, even though it's not something I would normally collect. But it's, Shoeless Joe Jackson, 1919 Black Sox, Russian stacking doll. I think there's 4 of them in here. But anyway, so Tony, get with it, man. You need one of these too. Okay, let's look at some cards. Okay, so just as a reminder, there are 3 prizes for the subscriber appreciation contest. The first one is this 1913 Nap Lajoie game card. Sorry for the glare there. Blue tint. There's the back. So the winner will get to pick one of these 3 prizes, and then the second place will pick from the 2 remaining, and then the third place winner will get the last remaining card. So that's the first one, Nap Lajoie game card from 1913. Second prize option is this exhibits card autographed by Bobby Doerr. So Hall of Famer exhibit card there. And then the third prize option is this T205 of Tom Downey for the Reds. Sweet cat back. So again, if you haven't entered in the contest, if you're interested, please leave a comment answering the questions from my last video, or do a video response. Let me know. Comment entries will receive 1 entry. Video response entries will receive 2 entries. And then there's a couple of bonus entries that I'm going to do for the commenters that enter. And I'll do that on May 17th when I get ready to draw the winners. So anyway, please participate if you'd like to win that contest. Looking forward to giving out those prizes. So I picked up a variety of card and non-card things over the last several months. I don't think I've shown these here on the channel, so I'm going to go through a lot of these pretty quickly. But these first few were from when I was out in Salt Lake City for work. I was out there doing some flight testing at Dugway, and went to antique store and also a card show at the mall there. The mall show was mostly Pokemon, so there wasn't a whole lot there, but there were a few little things that I found, and including this Trapper's card with Bill Murray. So, fan of Bill Murray, some of his movies from the 80s and 90s that I watched growing up. So got that. Just a 74 Topps card that I need for that set. Willie McCovey from 78 Topps, record breaker card. 1968 Topps game card. This is an ultra modern card from, well, I say ultra modern, it's actually from 1993, it looks like. This micro Mordecai Brown card. So I collect Mordecai Brown. didn't have this, and I thought that was just kind of different, so I picked that up. Then also, I'm a Tony Gwynn fan, so picked up Tony Gwynn. There'll be more where that came from later. Also an Ozzie Smith fan. Picked up that Stadium Club of Ozzie Smith that I didn't have. And then also my favorite player when I first started collecting was Darryl Strawberry. So here's a 90s Bowman Darryl Strawberry that I did not have. So I picked up all those from various places out there in Salt Lake City. Then let's see, the next little stack here. I'm a member of 2 online trading card groups. One called Trading Bases, the other one called Vintage Card Traders. If anybody's interested in joining those groups or want to know more information, leave a comment and I will post the links to the websites where you can go get some more information. But anyway, so I worked out a trade recently for some ultra modern cards. I'm not a big ultra modern person, but I do have some want list on my website from when I started opening packs and blaster boxes a few years ago. So made a trade, stack of some Topps Chrome, Bowman. The one that's kind of interesting to me out of this is this baseball one from for Rod Crew from Panama. So I'm working on that little subset. Well, not really working on it. Have started it. If I see one or someone sends me one in a trade, I'll take it. But Rod Crew's a great player, so nice to have that one. So that little stack there was from basically trading online. The next stack is from a local card shop. Went in there, stop in there every now and then just to see if there's anything new. They didn't have very much vintage stuff that I was interested in. They have some dollar boxes, which I actually think are kind of overpriced, but I needed a card fix for the day, so I went through the dollar boxes and picked out pretty good stack of cards here. So I'm working on this 2005 Legendary Cuts set from Upper Deck. So I needed the Cobb still, so picked up that. Found these couple Topps gold labels. Reggie Jackson and Ichiro, new Hall of Famer. And then another Ichiro card here. Also, as I mentioned, Darryl Strawberry was my favorite player when I started collecting. So I picked this one up, did not have that previously. And then I picked up a big stack of Tony Gwynn cards here that I didn't have. So I didn't collect most new cards in the 90s. I was working on T206 and some vintage stuff back then while I was in college. So I wasn't buying packs and opening packs or boxes or anything in the 90s. So, now I'm going back, and when I see some of these that player I like or, set that I like and I don't have, I'll pick them up. So, I picked up a stack. There was 30-something or maybe, 30-something Tony Gwynns here that I didn't have in my Tony Gwynn run. So, 20 or $30 for that stack there from that local card shop. Then, let's see, I was at an antique store, actually a couple of antique stores with my wife a few weeks ago, and I found these things that I thought were interesting. They are the diagrams from U.S. patents, and this one is for Catcher's Mask, obviously. Patented in, October 23rd, 1883. So he had several patent diagrams like this. There were some for other sports too, if I remember right. But I got the 2 from baseball that I like. So this is the Catcher's Mask one, which I thought was really neat. And then the other one was glove. See there, filed November 9th, 1937. So I don't know, I just thought those were kind of neat. They'll make good display cases when I finally get my card room back set up. So picked those up. They were, I don't know, $15 each, something like that, so not expensive. But I'm always looking for little things like that in antique stores, things that are kind of different. At another antique store, this one antique store was in Columbia, Tennessee, and they had some baseball cards and some stuff there, but this was one of the few kind of vintage things that I saw, and I immediately picked it up when I saw it. It's from 1965. It's the yearbook, so it has Roberto Clemente, Tony Oliva on the front, and if you flip through this, there are stars and Hall of Famers all throughout here. There's Harmon Killebrew. I actually haven't went through here and read this yet. I'm planning on doing that. I just haven't had time. But so I mean, good long article about Harmon Killebrew. Team photos. Here's the '64 World Champion St. Louis Cardinals. See Bob Gibson there. Lou Brock. Tim McCarver, Curt Flood, Ken Boyer. I mean, a lot of big names. And the Yankees team photo. Got Yogi Berra there in the middle. Whitey Ford, Mickey Mantle, Roger Maris. Little article about Tony Oliva, Clemente. Some historical stuff here about some of the sluggers. There's a who's who. Article about how Louisville Slugger bats are made. Kind of a 1964 recap of the Sluggers. So a lot of big names here too. See Dick Allen there in the bottom right. More guys. Ernie Banks there. So I'm sure these are not rare. I mean, I'm sure you can find them pretty easily, I would guess. But I'd never seen one, didn't have one in my collection. So saw it at the antique store and just flipping through it like that. So wow, there's all kinds of great players, Hall of Famers in here. So I picked it up. Anyway, so that'll be another good display piece for my card room when I get it all back set up. Okay, moving on. A few more things. Let me put the Shoeless Joe stacking doll here front and center. Again, any true Shoeless Joe collector needs one of those. So another local card shop. Went to after I got the stack of all the Tony Gwynn cards that I showed earlier. Picked up a few, so I needed this for my 1970 top set. Rookie Stars from the Senators. Picked up a K-Line Baseball Thrills card. I actually already had this, but I didn't realize it. So this is now a duplicate, but that's okay. Having a second K-Line Baseball Thrills card is not the worst thing in the world. I also picked up this, I think it's a 75 Kellogg's Lou Brock. So I'm a Lou Brock collector working on his player run. And this is, I didn't have any Kellogg's cards of him. So I picked this up for pretty cheap. And then kind of the big card, if you will. It's not really a big card, but big compared to all those. I picked up this 1959 Topps Harmon Killebrew SGC4. And the centering, the white borders and stuff just caught my eye when I started going through the display cases there. This was like the first card that caught my eye, and so I think it was listed for $40 or $50. I can't remember which one, but picked that up. Came home with that along with the Brock and the K-Line Thrills and that 70 Topps card. So that adds to the Harmon Killebrew run. Checks off a box on my 59 Topps set. So happy to pick that one up. So that's it. Actually, no, it isn't. I have one more thing. Back in Salt Lake City, at one of the antique stores I hit, I always go through the old photos there. Carte de Vis and all the old photos, hoping that someday I'll find something baseball related that I can buy that would be interesting. And I always strike out. So I was going through this antique store, and I had a lot of booths. And this one photo was in just a random stack of old photos. It was the only baseball thing I found there, really, and the only one I really found in any antique store in the last couple years. And so I knew it was a baseball player. I didn't know who it was, but I went ahead and bought it because it was like $2. And so here's the image. So it's clearly a period photo back in the 20s or 30s, something like that, I'm guessing. But again, I didn't know who the player was. So after the fact, I bought it, and then I used Google Lens to look it up. And it turns out it's Happy Chandler, who was the second commissioner of baseball, I believe. So a fairly famous and important person in baseball history. So that was a pretty cool find. It's not in great shape. It has, some edge issues there. I think there's even like a minor tear in the photo right here. You can hardly see, but it's there. But regardless, finding an old photo like that of a historically significant player and executive was pretty cool, for $2 no less. So there, little finds like that are out there. You just got to keep looking. You may have to look at 100 different antique stores or whatever to find one, but finding this kind of made looking through all those stacks of stuff worth it to me. So I'll keep looking for more. Anyway, that's all that I have for today. Thanks everyone for watching. Again, send your thoughts and prayers to Orlando as he recovers from a surgery. And if you haven't entered to the subscriber appreciation contest, please do so. Drawing will be on May 17th, so you got about a little less than 2 weeks left to get your entries in. And if you do enter, good luck. Looking forward to sending out those 3 prize cards to the winners. And until next time, take care, y'all.